So I was thinking about what you said, and no, I don't think that I don't think coronavirus is caused by black people.
I knew it was coming.
Or immigrants coming across the southern border.
It's all the 5G, dude.
How's it going?
It's going, buddy. How are you?
I am well.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What are we drinking tonight?
We are drinking Kavanagh, finest blended Irish whiskey. A selection of the finest Irish whiskeys, gently natured in oak casks and blended to create this distinctive, smooth, and mellow-tasting Irish whiskey.
I'll be the judge of
80
that.
proof. This was an inexpensive bottle of whiskey, so it may not be very good.
I have
Derived
not had
from
Kavanagh.
native Irish Gaelic, Kavanagh is an ancient Irish name, steeped in heritage and tradition. Descendant from the King of Leinster. We got a listen out of Leinster this past week.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Kavanagh name has long been associated with Irish whiskey. Kavanagh finest Irish whiskey has a distinctive sweet nose and smooth taste, making it an Irish whiskey for any occasion. Kavanagh, finest blended Irish whiskey.
I have not had Kavanagh whiskey.
I've
had some bottom end fucking Irishes. So
yeah,
we'll
I don't
see.
think I have either. So
all right, man.
We'll see.
Well, cheers.
Cheers.
It's got to be better than goddamn proper 12.
It ain't great. It ain't great.
Oh. It's got that same hollow middle that fucking proper 12. Are you sure Conor McGregor, like, is one of his fucking ancestors?
It could be.
Goddamn.
It could be.
Oh my god.
So
that's not great.
Yeah.
It's still Irish though, distinctly Irish
for sure. So we're videoing this tonight.
Yeah, doing something a little new.
We are. We got the nice branding going on here in the background. We almost look like we know what the hell we're doing.
I know. We're starting to look like a real podcast.
Got a nice new setup here. Thank you, Rode.
Right.
Even though they didn't give it to us.
Right. The Rodecaster Pro.
Yeah. So
I gotta say, dude, we dug into it just a little bit, but I'm fucking digging this thing.
Yeah, it's nice. I really do. I would have never bought it right now, but
fuck you.
But it is nice.
That's why you have me as a friend.
You're right. You are right.
and I've got it. It's better than I thought it was going to be. Like, I thought it would be cool and make things convenient, but this thing's fucking rad. It
really is. It's just more money than I would have wanted to have spent right now.
Oh,
but yeah, I mean, it is really cool. So, what's funny is that of all the complaints you've had about drops and generic drops, like things like that, and you are the first person to play this generic.
It's because you play the shittiest ones when I'm trying to talk about something to be an asshole.
I know. You know what? That's why we need a third person, so they get to make that call.
I hate drops so much. You know I do.
I don't know why. They do add to it if used correctly. And right now,
they're hokey as fuck.
I'm just doing it to bother you.
I know you are.
But if you got somebody that really has a good keen ear for when a drop should go in and adds comedic value to it, it's just great.
It can be.
It just depends on the kind. I'm not talking about sound effects.
Right now,
we're
2 steps away from being Bob and Tom.
I disagree because we don't have a woman doing news with huge tits.
Okay.
I mean, we have someone doing news with huge tits, but not a woman.
Okay, let me rephrase that. Bob and Tom, that's what came to my mind because before the FCC back in the day, they were pretty funny. I was thinking of Rick and Bubba. That's what we're 2 steps away from being.
Yeah, but I don't even remember them having...
They just suck. By the way, I want to tag them and tell them to go fuck themselves. I hate both of them so much.
Why?
They're awful.
Back in the day, they were funny.
They're still awful. Yeah, right. Before they got super hyper Jesus-y.
Oh, for sure.
Like
but when your son drowns in a pool, something changes.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, whatever.
Not the number of mouths to feed.
That doesn't give you an excuse to be a fucking cunt.
No, I get it. Yeah, Rick's got some issues between him and his daughter right now because she came out as bisexual.
I know.
Yeah. So anyway, regardless.
That's what I was going to say. This was made in Gaelic. I ain't drinking that in the South. Oh shit! So how was your week, dude?
It was a good week.
We've continued the streak.
Yeah. We've started shutting down operation 1 day a week right now. It won't last very long, but I still went into work on that day just because it was either that or work from home, and I hate working from home. But it was nice. It was fun. If work is fun being there and not having as many people around because you don't have to watch your mouth as nearly as much or whatever. Yeah. But anyway,
dude, this tastes this fucking shit. It tastes like somebody made like a decent Irish whiskey and then fucking poured some shitty scotch into it. That's
I don't think I've ever had decent scotch. I'm gonna get some scotch to bring in here.
See,
I know you're not a big scotch.
I'm not
fan.
at all.
Right.
Like Cully opened my eyes a little bit. Like the couple of scotches he let me try were fantastic.
Yeah.
It would take me it would be an acquired taste for me though, because that peatiness that sits on the back of your tongue, I don't like. It makes me gag like a dick.
Most liquors when the higher end they get, they definitely start to taste better, even if they're not your thing. They definitely taste better.
Yeah.
I just realized that we have the Anchors Away little booklet sitting here.
Shout
on the
out to Ben, by the way.
Yeah. So
well, that's good. That's good. You didn't have a shit week. I had a fucking garbage ass shit week.
It's because you're working from home, right?
No.
Well, it's because you're at home getting paid.
Well, I'm working some. Like I've done a bunch of technical and promotional documentation for the company this week. So I've been somewhat active, but I did not get that fucking sweet ass job that I was underqualified for.
Oh, you didn't get it?
I'm not. I was waiting to tell you on here. Yeah, dude, devastating for me because I didn't expect to get the job because, like I said, I'm not qualified for it at all. But it would have been a massive bump, income-wise and lifestyle-wise, had that come through. And I actually made it to the very fucking final round, and then I prepped up for the technical part of the interview, and I completely prepped on all the wrong things. It was. Yeah, and
you were telling me about the interview last week, and it was, that was something.
I bombed the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, they liked me on it, but see, the key is for me is I usually get into those interviews and I steer them to personal things because I can sell the shit out of myself. They weren't having it. Every time I tried to take it to a personal, I'm like, oh well, we can talk about that later. Let's stay on this topic. And I was telling Amanda that I realized after the fact that I think what probably sunk it for me outside of missing some of the things they were looking for is getting really frustrated with one of the guys who was interviewing me and letting that frustration like audibly show.
So what happened? Because you didn't tell me about this.
So he's asking me, it's stupid fire safety bullshit about fire extinguishers. And he was like, what kind of fire extinguishers are there? Name me, there are what, 5 main ones? He goes, name me 4. And I was like, okay. And I was like, CO2, halon. He was like, no. What kind of fire extinguishers? I was like, those are types of fire extinguishers. And he was like, no, what class of fire extinguishers? I said, are you talking about fire classes? And I said, because that's like A, B, C, D, whatever. He was like, no, fire extinguishers. I was like, CO2, water, hail. And he was like, no. What kind? I was like, and I said, what are you wanting to know? This is what I asked. And he goes, fire extinguisher. I was like,
help me help you.
And I was like, A, B, C, and D. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, Jesus. I didn't say that, but I was just like, but I finally, at one point, I was like, what do you want to know? I'm telling you fire extinguisher types. But he was an incredibly intelligent guy. I think he was from South America, and he had a really, really heavy accent. And via Skype or what we were doing, I had a hard time. And I was like, what the fuck are you getting at, dude? I have no idea. So I think me being like, what do you want? Probably kind of put a kibosh on a lot of things.
What do you want?
That's, I was like, what are you wanting to know? And he was like, fire extinguisher classes. And I was like, classes? That's the fucking same thing as fire classes, you dumbass. Anyway. Yeah. But I also fucking missed. I realized after the fact I answered the question incorrectly. In what direction do electrons flow? Which is like fucking electronics 101. But anyway, it was.
What direction do electrons flow?
They flow negative to positive.
You had to think about that.
Well, because reason is, little tidbit, on circuit diagrams, it still shows current running positive to negative because that's what they originally thought back in the day. It's been proven wrong. But because traditionally it's there, they have left it that way. And that's what I answered from, even though it was wrong. And I knew it was wrong, but whatever. Well, that's my rant. But I fucking basically dicked myself out of a fucking great job. Yeah. So whatever.
So salt on a wound right now. I got a message earlier that said, I'm listening to Gabe's episode. Steven sounds like a crybaby about losing the music game. And
that's got to be from your fucking sister.
Yes. It's
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So.
Jessica?
Yeah, it's from Jessica. Yeah.
I'm addressing her directly.
I'm sorry.
Now.
Go ahead. Yeah.
You can choke on a giant bag of pretentious fucking wine-going dicks.
Wine-going?
Wine-going.
All right.
Because that's what I picture those people in Napa Valley doing, just like dipping their dicks in wine and then sucking on them off of each other and telling them, be like, oh, you're so pretty. You're so rich. Let me have some more of that fucking Pinot off that fucking cock.
Oh my God.
That's a good year. What is that? 17? 18?
Oh, come on. People that go to Napa Valley don't go up to 17 or 18. They stick down around 13, 14 range.
That's only on their islands, dude.
Yeah.
Well. Oh, shit.
Oh,
This went downhill really fast.
Oh, God. So, next week, good Lord willing.
Sweet Jesus smiling on us.
God willing and the creek don't rise. A guy that I know from Sweden that lives in Sweden will be calling in. He's got some really interesting stories, at least when I met him and he told me some stuff. It's pretty interesting. We'll see how that translates into a phone call.
Plus he's Swedish.
Yes. But he's also going to talk a little bit about coronavirus times in Sweden, because they're one of the only countries that hasn't kind of locked everything down kind of the way we have over here. So, and evidently they're doing quite well against the coronavirus over there right now. So,
anyway, the air is cleaner.
I'm sure it is. But anyway,
I do want to go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, so hopefully, as long as everything pans out, next week we'll have him on. Christian's his name. So,
ironic.
Yeah.
So I have a question.
Yep.
So regarding a lot of the coronavirus shit, which I don't want to get way into, I know you have some news stories. So if this steps on the toes of some of those, let me know and we can come back to it.
I don't think it does.
But you brought it up earlier, and it's something I just heard about this week, and I find it weirdly interesting. And that is the conspiracy theory that the coronavirus is related to the 5G LTE towers that are going up.
Yeah. I think it's just ignorance. It's just
right.
It's the first time I saw it, I thought, just how fucking retarded are people? That's really what I thought, is how stupid are people?
Right.
But anyway.
So, and I've heard both. So, and I didn't know, you've probably read more than me, maybe not. Is the theory or the thought behind it that coronavirus is being used as a thing to distract people from the 5G towers going up and the damage it'll do, or is it a direct cause of the new 5G towers going up?
I don't know for sure, but I think it's that the 5G towers are causing coronavirus, causing the spread of it.
See, that's people that don't understand how radiation and radio waves work and how viruses work.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because just so everybody knows, RF or any type of radiation exposure is not contagious, other than, getting it from the air in the same place. Or not the air, but, radiation into your body, which basically burns and cooks your insides. It doesn't give you a cough.
Anytime anyone tries to blame all of these outside things,
it's stupid.
Whatever. Immigration.
Now, if people wanted to argue that it was a lab-made thing that was released on the earth, sure, I can buy that, because the fucking
maybe it was
ridiculous.
A lab-made thing that was distributed when they power up those 5G towers. It's just like the power from it just blasting out into the air.
Well, or maybe the 5G towers infected that fucking bat people were eating, and then that shit mutated and turned into a virus. That could very well have been the cause.
Good Lord.
Right. It's hilarious to me how stupid people are.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, I'm stupid, but I try not to propagate said stupidity.
Yeah, you're so stupid. You didn't even know which way electrons flow.
Well, you think pineapples grow on trees, you fuck.
I know they grow on trees.
Call back to the second episode.
I know. Yeah. Yes, call back to my misspeak.
That was a synchronized beverage.
It was. So, are you getting out of the house much?
No.
Are you? Who does the grocery shopping?
Me or Amanda? Amanda more than me, but I'll go with her. I mean, that type of thing. Grocery shopping.
She wear a mask and gloves?
We haven't been able to get any. She would.
We're going to have to start wearing masks this week at work. Yeah. And they're going to take our temperature before we're allowed in the building.
Which, by the way, well, no, I can't say that on the air. Never mind. It was something work-related for me, but it would give away way too fucking much. I'll talk to you about that offline.
So when I go in, because I get there earlier than most people, so when I go in, the guy, he's got a good sense of humor, so he'll probably get a kick out of it when I walk in. And he's like, all right, I got to take your temperature. I'm going to start undoing my belt just to see what his reaction is.
That's awesome. I try to take temperatures with my tongue because it's much more accurate. It's much more sensitive. It's like when my kid's like, Daddy, I have a fever. I'm like, well, bend over and spread them. Not just stick that tongue in there just to get it good accurate.
Good Lord. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So I get out of the house and do most of the grocery shopping stuff
Right.
in here, and that's one of the things that's kind of keeping me sane. Is that I get to go to work, which is nice because I get out of the house, but then being able to go to the grocery store or whatever, it's kind of
Right.
because I'm not a homebody. I'm not a just sit at home and watch TV all the time unless I have to. Like I just can't. I don't like it.
I'm getting there. Like dude, I'm eating like shit. Like I have a hard time exercising when I can't leave the house.
Sure.
Like I have the shit to do it at home, but I hate it. If I can go to the gym every day, it's
What about
good.
going for a walk? You don't
It's
like
not
that.
fucking exercise.
It is if it's brisk enough.
I know. No, I hate going. I hate walking. I hate running. I hate that shit. Like I want to go into a gym. I want to do my circuit shit. I want to do all that stuff and be done with it. But
Okay.
but I don't like doing it at home. Well, it's a lot harder for me to get motivated at home too. Which, by the way, I'm almost done with season 6 of Community.
Are you?
Oh yeah.
So I had to slack off on some this week. I'm on the season 4. I'm almost done with that.
Oh yeah. No, I've done.
Did you watch season 6 though originally when it first released?
Oh yeah,
didn't you?
I watched
Okay.
it on Yahoo.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
We had to hook the computer up to the TV to watch it.
Which
but-
I remember I was a little disappointed at the lack of profanity in season 6, as they didn't have the
well, I
restrictions.
think they stayed true to the show though. Is the thing.
There was
they dropped
a little
couple.
more.
There
They
was
said
2
a few more-
F-bombs.
And there were a few more bitches. And
Yeah.
I mean, they were a little more liberal.
Yeah, but it's good. So I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to stagger it with Seinfeld because I've started watching Seinfeld again, and so I've staggered it a little bit. I have since yesterday watched 3 movies since 10 p.m. last night. I've watched 3 movies.
See, the only movie I've got the kids this weekend, so we watched fucking what movie was that last night?
Happy Feet.
Oh God, no! last time they were here, we ended up watching the fucking new Jumanji.
Oh,
And the next
I
level.
heard
or
it was
whatever the fuck-
okay.
It wasn't bad.
yeah.
Plus, I mean, anyway. So we watched some other piece of shit movie last night. I don't remember if
So
like a kids movie.
speaking of Jumanji, tangentially, Robin Williams. I turned the TV on the other day and Hook was on.
Oh, yeah,
about
Hook was great.
30-ish minutes. It was right when
Rufio!
it was like right when he first got to Neverland, and it sucked me in. I watched the entire rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Like it's a.
Brilliant.
Do you know it's only got like 49% or something on Rotten Tomatoes with critics? It's
Yeah.
It's not very high, but with the audience, it's like 80% or something.
Right.
But
Right.
I don't know. Anyway, so the 3 movies I've watched since 10 p.m. last
It would have
night.
been higher had he not used a stool.
I watched the second Sicario movie, Day of the Soldado.
Okay.
Which was good. It was a good follow-up movie. I enjoyed it.
Yep.
I don't know if you watched Sicario.
No.
You should watch it. It's good. The first one is a damn near masterpiece.
Okay.
The second one ties in. They're very much kind of Mission Impossible-y, like some of the same characters, but a different story that's happening. It's got Josh Brolin in it and Benicio del Toro.
Okay.
Emily Blunt's in the first one, but anyway. And then after that, I watched Brightburn,
Okay.
which, do you know anything about Brightburn?
It looked like garbage, so I didn't watch it.
Well, it was an interesting concept to me just because it's basically like, what if Superman came to Earth like he did
Oh,
and
that
was
never
evil?
mind. I was thinking about the third thing. I did see Brightburn. I
Yeah.
liked Brightburn.
I didn't like it. Was just shitty. I thought it was just shitty.
It wasn't good.
I didn't think
but
it had.
enjoyed
I didn't think that it had any payoff at the end.
No.
At all. And
No, but it's one of those movies I enjoyed the middle of.
yeah,
Like
kind of.
I really liked the
It was
build.
very, very predictable. Though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, the ending fucked it pretty good in the beginning, but I guess I just like seeing the kid murder people. Like that shit was cool.
Yeah, it was just, I don't know. It could have been better.
It was very
definitely could have
anticlimactic.
been-
Yeah.
for sure it was. But they did leave it open for a possible sequel, I guess.
Right.
But I don't know that they should do that. But anyway, and then today I watched Venom.
Okay, that was fucking a pile of.
You thought so?
yeah.
I enjoyed the movie. I'm not a huge comic book
I know.
fan or comic book movie fan. I enjoy the Marvel movies. They're enjoyable, but mainly because I like Robert Downey Jr.
See,
so much.
I wish that like fucking. I talked about this with Gabe a little. or
I
mentioned
hear it could be better if
I-
it were
I-
rated
I-
R and they could really have let loose.
Outside
some
of
more.
that, I just wish that fucking Sony would just give up the rights of all the Marvel shit back to Marvel. The only good thing that Sony, I think, was it Sony that did fucking Logan? Logan was fucking
remember.
fantastic.
It was really good.
That's the
but
only
they gave
thing
it
that don't-
an R rating so that Logan could actually be who Logan
Exactly.
really is.
Yeah. But
And
still,
don't know, man.
I just
Venom. I enjoyed Venom, but I don't know a lot about the
because
story of Venom.
I
or
secretly want a new Fantastic Four movie that doesn't fucking suck cocks like that.
So did the last one? Was the last one Not any good because I
it
didn't
was
watch.
bad.
I'm not talking about the Jessica Biel or not Jessica Biel, but Jessica Alba.
No,
whatever
that was
one back in the day.
with Chris. Before he became Captain America.
It was him, was it?
Yeah.
Was it him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was fucking trash. Like it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Flame on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So anyway,
Jude gave me a new joke.
Oh,
I
yeah?
shouldn't say a new joke, but we were sitting outside. And
do you want to get him on the phone to tell it?
No, they're asleep right now.
Oh,
I'm
are
not,
they?
I'm not walking down that road.
Okay, no, that's
But
fine.
she said, "Hey, Dad, your mama's so short. She smoked weed and couldn't get high."
Oh my God.
I was like, "What the hell, dude?" And he was like, "What? Isn't that what weed does? Doesn't it make you high?" And I was like, "Okay, that's fair enough."
Oh God.
He's really obsessed with drugs right now.
It sounds like it.
He is. He talks about drugs and cocaine a lot. He doesn't know. I asked him what cocaine was, and he
He
said,
wants to buy people.
"I don't know."
To do stuff for him
Yeah,
on the dark web.
the dark web to wash,
Oh,
to
God.
wash dishes.
Yeah, to wash dishes. Yeah.
Oh shit! So anyway,
Oh,
did you
God.
come with something to talk about tonight? I thought you said that.
No, I have a couple of news stories to do
Oh, yeah.
in a little while, but not anything in particular to talk about. But
One of the things I was thinking about, we really need a new Medea movie. We're past.
Oh, my
we're
God.
past due.
I can't stand Tyler Perry
I know.
or any of his
I know.
movies.
He's a fuck him.
They're not written well. She's a terrible role model
Oh yeah.
for young girls, young black girls. Medea's a terrible role model, especially in if you're trying to do away with violence.
It doesn't
It's a terrible.
matter.
It does matter. It
No.
absolutely matters because he's pitched this shit as a new thing that's great and can have an impact on people.
Right.
It's not having a good impact. Grit ball is not a good thing to teach people to do.
So here's how I look at it though. So you have Nicholas Sparks that makes shit for lonely fucking white women which is a special place in hell for that man.
Yep.
So you have like white women, Nicholas Sparks. You have pretty much part of the black community. You have fucking Tyler Perry.
Right.
And it's so pandering to that particular
for sure.
culture or values. For like Nicholas Sparks feeds this bullshit thing that makes relationships miserable for everyone that's trying to be in a normal one. And then Tyler Perry, to me, like I get he's found his niche for being able to sell entertainment for sure, but all it does to me, like a lot of that just furthers. I don't know. I don't understand it. I hate it so much.
So let me ask you this: why is it that?
But it's the same way that Michael Bay is a fucking cock.
Yeah,
You know, he panders to fucking white dudes that want to blow shit up.
sure.
Movies suck. They have no substance.
Why is it that?
Jerry Bruckheimer, that's what I was thinking about. That
Yeah.
guy's a turd. In the words of Trey Parker and Matt Stone.
So, if you notice the Medea movies, like they are highly supported by the black community.
Right.
Why is that? Like, why are shitty movies like by a black writer, director, whatever? Why are they so highly supported? When Rob Schneider releases a shitty movie, we don't all go out and white people don't all go out and support it.
Right.
There's a certain group of white people that will go out and support that.
I would.
But it depends on what it is.
Yeah.
I like in his personal
Deuce
life.
Bigelow.
I like. Oh my God, European Gigolo was so bad. It was so bad.
Yeah.
But I mean, Rob Schneider's a great supporting character.
Right.
He can't carry a movie.
Oh, God, no.
Anyway, but why is that? To me, that's an odd thing. One difference in cultures or whatever that's strange to me. I mean, you have white people that will support Tyler Perry, especially white women. Will support anything from a minority for the most part, but even more so if they're a more progressive or liberal white woman.
Right.
It's like white guilt kicking in.
Yeah, well, I think that a lot of that, though, is more along the lines related to championing a because you don't have a lot of prominent black
Sure, but
movie
why
makers,
would you want to
storytellers.
champion shit?
But the thing is he built his success on
Oprah's back.
right. Well, it's essentially it's pandering, right? It's a type of stereotyping and playing on a certain type of cultural impact. And because he started getting successful, then the black community is going to rally behind him because there aren't that many, notable black writers,
Sure.
producers. And of course, now you have oh shit, what's his name?
And
The guy that did Us.
It's exploitative to me.
It is
what he's
exploitative.
done.
That's what I was trying not to use that word specifically, but
That's what it is.
It's the same thing Nicholas Sparks does, Jerry Bruckheimer, like
Sure.
those guys. It's just,
Yeah.
But because you have, it's exploitative, but culturally there's a very different type of humor that lands with, like those, but with across, like it's even with Hispanic people. You look at Telemundo, like their comedies are
Right.
It's so fucking weird, or even Japanese comedy.
I love watching Telemundo.
Yeah.
So there's always hot chicks on there.
Yeah, but so it is because I think there's a bigger demographic of African Americans as far as moviegoers, the shit like that.
Yep.
It's an easy exploitation. But you do have other guys raising up like Peele. What's his first name? From Key and Peele.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway,
I
he's
can't
done.
think of his name.
He's
Jordan.
done. Jordan Peele. He's done Us, which was. Did you see Us?
Us, it's good movie,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think it was a great movie.
I thought it was fucking fantastic.
Um,
and then what? Get Out was.
Get
the other
Out
one he
was.
did.
I thought that was a.
See,
great
I thought Us
movie.
was better than Get Out.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
And I think partially because I feel like Us was pandering to progressives that want to argue about class warfare.
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't like that.
Okay.
It's just like when the first Transformers movie came out, I enjoyed it mostly from nostalgia
Right.
aspect. But they had that one little scene on Air Force One where it made the president, who at the time was George W. Bush, made him sound like an idiot.
Right.
He did that enough on his own
Right.
that you didn't really need whoever that was.
Yeah.
I can't remember who the director was.
Yeah.
You didn't need that, and I don't like it when they do that.
Yeah, but point being for me, like I would rather see somebody like Peele like get championed because he's such a talented writer and he's
Absolutely.
such a talented filmmaker.
I completely agree with that.
But as a whole, like he might be pandering to like whatever that demographic for that movie, but he's not pandering to a specific race to exploit that. Like he's just fucking making good fucking movies.
Yeah.
And like I said, I wish you'd see people like that championed a lot more across the board. But
more so than Tyler Perry.
yeah. Yeah, Tyler Perry's a fucking chode, man. He really is. Have you watched interviews with him?
Not
He's a
late, not
pompous
anytime recently.
fuck.
Yeah.
Basically, he believes everything he's doing is the work of Jesus and telling the story of.
Well, you know, he cut. I can't think of the preacher's name.
I look at his movies the exact same way I look at those fucking movies like God's Not Dead and that shit that panders to the specifically conservative fucking Southern Baptist Christian cocksucking group.
Sure, but if it would get you rich, would you pander to that group?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, I'm not saying I wouldn't do what they do.
Why they do it? I
But
just don't get. I don't get why we, as the collective
Right,
we that
exactly.
that partake in that art.
Yeah. If I could find a way to exploit any group of folks,
Sure.
whether it's young adults, whether it's white males, whether it's African, I don't care. If I could find a way to make money off the exploitation, I would fucking do it.
Sure.
And
I
anybody that
noticed you
says
cut
they
African American off short. You didn't go that route.
Well,
you started to say it, but you cut it off.
I was about to go on a whole rant of races,
you.
and I figured I would just leave it general.
Sure.
Yeah. Because I know you, and you'd start fucking poking that bear.
Well, I mean, I just figure your ancestors probably exploited them enough.
That's
so,
fair.
I don't, whatever. Anyway. So I was also thinking, and you know what? I'll tell you what. Let's put a pin in that. Let's take a quick break, and we'll come back, and I'll finish that thought. What do you got?
Nothing.
You look like you're fixing to say
I looked like I was going to just
Bob
to be
Dole.
an asshole because you always stop if I act like I'm going to because
I was stopping already
because you're
anyway.
considerate. That's fine.
I'm considerate.
You are
I'm very considerate, but you did look like Bob Dole.
Bob Dole.
So you look
Dude,
like-
I haven't even heard
That was
the
Bob
name.
Dole, wasn't it, that
Bob
had the
Dole,
pen all the time?
I think it was.
Do you know why he had the pen like that? Well, they put a pin in his hand because he couldn't open his hand. He was injured in war and he couldn't open his hand well. So they put a pin in it so it looked like he had use of his hand.
It's probably a jerk off injury.
Could be.
That's
When you're in war, what else you got? What
That's
you gonna
exactly
do?
the fucking
Kill
right.
innocent women and children and jerk off afterwards. So,
You gotta do something with those mental images. All right.
all right, we'll be right back. All right.
All right.
So, just to try to keep some consistency, Druid Clothing Company.
Yep. They're
Go
friends.
buy our T-shirt.
He's friends of yours. He probably hates me. At
I
this
know
point.
him through Gabe. Yep.
Right.
But I don't think he even listens. He heard the commercial and thought it was badass.
Yeah.
The original commercial. But
you just heard the original.
DruidClothingCo.com.
Right. He's got to. You need to order a B3F T-shirt.
I think Hunter ordered one of his regular, his normal shirts.
But fuck Hunter for not ordering one of ours.
Right.
I'm thinking about ordering one of ours just to wear it.
Right. And then Stitcher. Stitcher.com/premium. Use code B3F to get a free month.
Yeah, they got a fuck ton of podcasts.
All kinds of podcasts. Something about Wolverine. The Office Ladies is on there. I'm pretty sure Joe Rogan is on there. And
they got like back catalog of all that shit.
And true crime. But yeah, you can get a, I think it's $4.99 a month or $34.99 a year, something like that. But you get a free month if you use B3F. You have to use it on the website though, not in the app.
Which nothing to do with Stitcher. Well, it made me think of podcasts. We're working on some new guests too that might be interesting from other podcasts, possibly, and some other stuff. It's a little difficult right now with the COVID. I mean, remote guests are fine, but it's hard to get anybody here to do.
And I hope everyone enjoyed Don calling in last week.
We're going to have him do that again.
Yeah. We hope to do that every so often.
We've got a way better setup for it now.
Absolutely. Way better. So he can actually hear any music or anything that we play. He'll be able to hear that. So,
I had a question for you that I thought about when we were outside. Have you ever killed a baby kitten? Or killed a kitten? I guess a kid would be a baby inherently.
Aside from running over one by accident, no.
I had to stomp on one.
So I do have a story similar to that, but not about a cat. So go ahead.
Yeah, so went down to the farm, on the farm, went on the barn, and I guess like a fox or some shit had gotten in and or whatever. There's a cat, and half of them, there were two of them, had guts ripped out, hanging out. You weren't going to get into the vet. They were going to die, either slowly or whatever. So, the only thing nearby is fucking no hammers, anything. You have to put them in a fucking bag, basically a bag.
Yeah.
We had bags down there so it doesn't splatter over and just fucking stomp on their heads.
So I do have a cat story, but then I got the other one I was saying. But I remember when I was young, early teens, we had a cat at my dad's house, and my grandfather owned some of the land around there. So all the time he was at the house. Will and myself would help him fix fences and things like that. And we had a cat, and it fell down into the cellar. We had one of those. It was an old house and had one of those cellars you go down in from the outside. Anyway, the cat fell, and anyone that tells you the cat always land on their feet, that's fucking not true, because this cat did not land on its back, broke its back.
Oh shit!
It was still alive, but it wasn't going to make it. My grandfather picked it up, and my grandfather walked with a limp, and so he had a cane, and his cane was hooked on his pocket, and he picked the cat up in his hand like this, and then took his cane and just popped right to the back of the head, and it was lights out instantly.
Yeah. And people hear shit like that, and they're like, oh, that's fucking terrible. It's like, you never grew up in a situation where you had to kill an animal.
My brother-in-law is throw money at the problem until you can't anymore, and then have the animal put down. Yeah. He's absolutely anti, you hit a dog in the street, you take it to the vet. You don't put a gun to the side of its head and put it out of its misery.
Right. Well, but it also depends on the extent of the energies.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But like if you got a dog, if you have an animal that's obviously going to die, like that drive from where you hit it to the vet is going to be fucking miserable on that animal. And if it's going to have to die anyway. And whereas a bullet to the head, people think that's brutal, but it's a quick, fairly painless way.
I saw my...
Unless I ever tell you about hitting that deer?
No.
Oh,
I don't think.
So when I was like 17, I was coming home. I had that little 300ZX. Fucking hit a deer, and it clipped its knees, broke its legs, flipped it up over the hood, and landed in the ditch.
Jesus.
And all of its legs are broken. Couldn't get up. Like, the deer was fucked up. And it was right in front of my house. I went up and I was like, Dad, I hit this deer. Like, we're going to have to go put it down. And he was like, okay. And my sister was 15 at the time? And she was like, I want to go. Or she's 14 maybe. Anyway, he was like, no, honey, you don't want to see this. And she was like, yes, I do. I want to be there for the deer. Well, the only ammunition we had at the house for the guns at the time were 22 rounds.
Oh my God. Just basically had to unload a rifle?
Yeah. We had a pistol. A pistol.
My God.
So we went down to the deer. And, of course, gun to the head. Deer couldn't get away. And pop! It just bounced off the fucking skull. Two clips.
Oh my God.
So that deer did not die quickly or peacefully. And because it was trying to find a spot where that round would penetrate the skull. But my sister was like, you didn't have to shoot it so many times. So it was like, pop. The deer just pop. Pop, 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 pop. Pop, 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 pop.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So I saw my stepdad, my mom's second husband. We had a small dog, and she was pregnant, and she got hit by a car right in front of me and my stepsister. And my stepdad just came out of the house. We hollered for him, and he came out of the house with a 12 gauge, walked right out into the middle of the road, and just one to the head.
Yep. That's the best way if you have a shotgun or a larger caliber.
But
because we had to kill a dog.
If you've never seen it, it's brutal when the first time you see something like that.
Yeah, well, I remember the first time. I think for me was there's this dog that kept getting on the property and killing shit, and my dad had taken it back to the people, and they wouldn't tie it up. Kept letting the dog out. Kept coming over and killing animals. Took it to the pound. The people came and got the dog out of the pound. Take it back home. Same shit happened. This happened like 4 or 5 times, and my dad was finally like, "Come on, boy, you're about to learn a life lesson." And the dog was really sweet to people, so we called the dog up. Come
Did
here,
he call
buddy.
you a fag too?
No.
Oh, okay.
But the dog came up, was being all sweet and nice, and my dad tied a rope around it, put like a rope around his neck for like a leash, tied the other into a tree, went in, gave the dog a couple treats, pulled out a fucking 45 right between the eyes, blam! And we threw that dog in the back of the truck, took him to the dump.
Wow.
Never killed another animal.
Oh, well, of course.
And the people came up, was like, "Y'all seen our dog?" I'm like, "No, man."
Yeah, I seen him. He was at the dump.
Yeah.
Jesus
I
Christ.
was 14.
So, about a year-ish ago,
Uh-huh.
I was cutting the grass. And
I know this story.
yeah, and I was just going around a tree, and all of a sudden I see this baby rabbit hopping across the road.
Right.
And I was like, "What the that come from?" And as I went around, I saw another rabbit as I went on around the tree, and there was a hole in the ground, and some baby rabbits were in there, and the vibration from the lawnmower caused them to sprint out of the hole, and 2 of them got laid open and were still alive.
Oh.
Yeah, they were still alive, laying there, and I had to take a huge rock that was there and just slammed it down on top of them to put them out of their misery, because I live in the city. You can't fire a gun in the city.
Well, tell that to most of East Knoxville.
Sure, you're not supposed to do that anyway. And pick the rock back up. One of them was still alive. I guess I didn't get it, and I had to get him again.
Yeah.
And I'm not proud
You
of
always,
it.
you always
but I
double
mean,
tap.
Sure. I think that's what rule is that?
I don't know what rule it is.
We watched actually Zombieland Double Tap.
I haven't seen the second one yet.
It's good.
Yeah.
It lives up.
Okay.
So anyway, so
That's hilarious. You fucking bunny murderer.
yeah, I teased this right before the break.
Uh-huh.
I'm concerned a little bit when Hunter actually comes to be here that he may steal my wife, because she is into wrestling again.
Oh,
and
shit.
she's watching wrestling on TV now.
Yeah, it's possible.
And if you haven't seen wrestling in the coronavirus era, it's still live.
Yeah, it's
There
hilarious.
are no
I've
fans
seen a
there.
couple clips.
There
It's
are
hilarious.
no fans, which it's so much less energy. There's not nearly as much energy in the action. It's the same action.
Yeah.
Not nearly as much energy in it, and it's just sad.
I know. It's
sad.
amazing.
Yeah,
in the
it's
best of
pretty
ways.
bad. So,
I imagine that's what it would be like to watch Hunter wrestle.
Yeah, so if Hunter, if you want women that are older than you, you may have a chance.
Right. Yeah.
So
yeah.
But anyway,
You do some news, or do you have something else?
in just a second. But actually, so something funny happened while we were on break. You are prone to getting a shiver when you're standing outside. You are prone to shivering.
Fuck you.
And you've done something to your back over the last couple of days, and you got a shiver, and it set you straight to the ground.
It did.
And it was so funny.
It hurt. Fucking.
What did you do to your back? Because we both have back problems.
So, I've got this suspension trainer for working out, which I haven't been using, but I have it mounted on the back porch because I'm a lazy piece of shit. But it's there in case I ever decide to.
Right.
And so the kids hang on it and swing on it and type of shit, use it like a playground. And so I had this idea that I was going to, because my porch kind of hangs off, there's a drop in the back, about a foot, nothing big. And so like for back exercises, I'll extend those out and like where I'm almost parallel with the porch and do pull like whatever rows, whatever the fuck you want to call them. Anyway, I raised those up just a little bit, and the kids thought it was hilarious because one of them came up to give me a hug, and when they hugged me, I was standing on the edge, and I just dropped backwards and held on to it, and they thought they were fucking falling, and they screamed and a little couple tears, and it was hilarious. Well, then they're like, "Oh, that's fun." So I was doing that with them. They'd like come up, wrap their arms around my waist, and I would fall backwards and catch it. And the last one, my fucking foot slipped.
Oh,
and when
nice.
when it happened, like, kid didn't fall, but it fucking twisted my back, and now I'm all fucked up from it. That and I wrestled with both of them earlier. So my son's all about the epic battles, and my daughter's still into jiu-jitsu, and she likes to roll and whatever. But my son is all about like I'm gonna jump off my dresser and land on your face with my knees type of shit. So anyway,
so you want to do some news? We'll do some news.
All right. It's still one of my favorite drops you've done, dude. I really dig the.
I do like that. I like Don's better. I like Don's more, but I do like that quite a bit. So, New Earth. Have you heard anything about this yet?
Like
they've been in search for a possible New Earth.
Oh
or Earth 2 or whatever.
I thought you meant like the young Earth shit.
No. So
because we've only been around for 6,000 years total.
Right. So NASA discovered a planet remarkably like ours, and that gives hope for a second Earth. So this is from CNET. So the Kepler Space Telescope. So the Kepler Space Telescope mission that keeps on giving is what they're saying here in this article from CNET. On Wednesday, NASA announced the discovery of what might be a very Earth-like exoplanet found lurking in old Kepler data. So Kepler ran out of fuel in 2018 and floated off into the space dump. And but they're still going. NASA's still going through the footage and things like that. So they found this planet they're calling Kepler 1649c, located 300 light years away from Earth. So we'll be able to get there pretty quickly. so anyway,
it's a big jaunt.
Sure. We need Event Horizon to get there. So NASA described it as the most similar to Earth in size and estimated temperature out of the thousands of exoplanets that Kepler discovered. So
I swear to God, if we ever manage to get there and there's no fucking life there, I'd be upset.
Well, I mean, that's a thought. So the planet, it says here, a planet is located in its star's habitable zone, a region where it's possible for liquid water to exist. Let's see here. Slightly larger than Earth, it receives 75% of the amount of light that we get from our own sun. So 25% dimmer, I guess. Which says could put it in line with Earth temperatures as well. The planet was originally misidentified by a computer algorithm, but a team of scientists found it during a review of the Kepler data. Let's see here. Thomas Zerbuchin from NASA says, this intriguing, distant world gives us even greater hope that a second Earth lies among the stars waiting to be found. But don't pack your bags just yet. The exoplanet may look promising, but it's not necessarily going to be Earth 2.0.
We're just looking for a place to fuck up.
Yeah, absolutely. The planet is in orbit around a red dwarf, a type of star that NASA said is known for stellar flare-ups that may make a planet's environment challenging for any potential life. The space agency also cautioned that Kepler 1649c's atmosphere is still a mystery and that the size calculations may be off. It's like, we know all this stuff about it, but we might be wrong.
Oh, my God.
International research team discovered the planet, published a paper on it in April in the Astrophysical Journal Letters. Let's see here. With red dwarfs almost everywhere around our galaxy and these small, potentially habitable and rocky planets around them, the chance that one of them isn't too different than our Earth looks a bit brighter, said Andrew Vandenberg, a lead author at the University of Texas at Austin.
See, I don't give a shit about any of that. If come back to me when they're like, oh, fuck, we found some animals. And I'm like, okay, fuck right. Yeah, now I'll listen. Because right now this shit is so fucking far away. Like, all of it's speculation based on data and things that they formulated, but there's no way to be like, oh yeah, that place is fucking rad. Which, by the way, have you, at least this was a few months ago, I haven't kept on it, but Elon Musk was on a kick about terraforming Mars. Like, he was involved in all that. Did you fucking read about any of his ideas to make the atmosphere habitable?
No.
One was mirrors. Like a array of mirrors around the outside of the planet to direct sunlight.
Oh, I got you.
To make it habitable temperatures. The other one, which is my favorite, was to drop a fucking several payloads of nuclear bombs to fucking change the atmosphere on the planet, which I thought was fucking awesome.
Sure, but that seems like you're just asking to fuck it up and completely.
Well, maybe.
Yeah, whatever.
But
we're tired of doing that to other countries here,
right.
so we got to do
so
it to other planets.
They were talking about. Well, I guess they've been working on for a while sending a manned mission, and the first one they're planning on being a one-way mission for the people that go. Would you have volunteered for that? Could you have gone to Mars?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Even as a married individual, if they would have been like, "Hey, Joey Manning, we need you."
I would definitely have the conversation with my wife and kids about it, for sure. But I also would love to go on a trip to the moon.
Right.
I know that there's not really trips to the moon anymore, but
there are going to be.
Sure. But if there were tourist trips to the moon that were, that I could afford, absolutely I'd go to the moon.
Right.
I'm 100%. Space fascinates me, but I'm not. I don't go and read up a lot of stuff about it or whatever. But space is fascinating. The final frontier.
I just know we faked the moon landing. That's the only only thing I know for sure.
Well, I don't know that we faked the moon landing, but I think we faked getting out of the spaceship onto the moon.
Oh yeah.
I think so. I don't think we did that shit.
Oh, yeah, who knows?
I mean, watch the video. just kidding.
If you play it sped up, it looks like just they're jumping on trampolines. This shit's no different at all.
There's no one looks like they're falling and stands right back up like that.
Yeah. I will say if you've done any of the digging in it, because you know me, we've talked about this. I love conspiracy theories, and not that I'm an expert on all of them at all. But I have read into the moon landing conspiracy quite a bit, and there are some interesting facts in there that could potentially back up the fact that we never landed on the moon. And I'm not saying we didn't, but I'm saying there's some interesting fucking things brought up in that.
Oh yeah, for sure. I remember when Joe Rogan kind of was very skeptical of it. He's since changed his mind, but yeah, it was interesting.
It's interesting. Well, yeah. Anyway, at some point, I want to do an episode on nothing but conspiracy theories.
That's fine. I'm not really into conspiracy theories.
I know. That's why it would be fun, because you'll be all negative and be like, that's stupid.
Well,
or you'll be like, yeah, I could see that.
First off, it's stupid to waste your time trying to debunk the kinds of things.
Oh, there's nothing about debunking.
No, I'm not saying you, but there's a lot of people out there these conspiracy theorists that are just actively trying to debunk this. I'm
right.
Like, what do you really gain from debunking it? Wait, what? You could be spending your time better.
Exposing the truth, Joey.
God.
Exposing the truth.
Sure. I got you.
See, my whole thing is just I like knowing that shit, and the fact that I don't trust anything makes that even more palatable for me or more interesting. And some of them are way the fuck out there, but there's a few things that come up every now and then that if I'm reading into it, I'm like, oh, that's a good point. And there's no way to prove either way, and you're never going to know unless there's some crazy disclosure thing like when fucking what's his name released a lot of those CIA files,
right?
And some of that shit. What the fuck was that dude's name?
Snowden.
No. Yeah, Snowden.
Was it Snowden?
Yeah.
Was it the other guy that I can't think of his name?
Yeah,
but anyway.
But some of the shit that they released, people are like, oh, okay. But there were some pretty big fucking juicy morsels in there that kind of got swept over. But some shit that was just as far as intelligence and surveillance shit that was fucking crazy. Anyway, I'd like to get. It would be cool to find somebody that's kind of that's really knowledgeable on that shit more than me, and have them on would be.
Bill Burr's a big conspiracy theorist.
Yeah,
he didn't spend a ton of time on it, but he definitely is a conspiracy theorist.
And I am for sure. I believe a lot of the shit, and again, not saying true or false, but to me, a few of the things that come out there are more palatable than what the actual truth is, and maybe that's part of it. It seems more convenient than otherwise, but some of the shit, it's just fucking weird enough that I'm like, that might be true. I could see that being a thing.
Well,
anyway, I do believe we've made contact with aliens. I 1,000% believe that. I do.
Compare it to a movie.
Oh.
Compare the contact with aliens to something we've seen that we can go, I see what you're saying.
I don't know. I can't think of it because movies are always pretty blown up. I think it's more on a low-key type of thing.
So do you think that humans have been abducted the way we hear about it?
That I don't know.
But what do you think?
I haven't given much thought to, honestly. I mean, it's possible because enough of these people have the same type of stories, but I don't know. Also, I guess let me rephrase that. Not so much that we've met. I think that we have found technology that exists outside of the planet that we have reverse engineered. That's probably the better way I can think to describe that.
Have you watched that documentary? And I cannot for the life of me
The one with the
think
chip
of it.
and the dude, the chip and shit in it? That's
No. This is
I think you mentioned that one time. No, I don't think I have.
he's been raided multiple times by the
Right.
FBI and whatever. So that to me, if the government is paying attention and doing that kind of stuff, there's got to be some truth in what you're saying.
Yeah.
Or you're getting close.
Yeah.
But supposedly he was part of a team that was to reverse engineer.
Yeah.
The
one of the things
power
I
unit
point to,
of one of the
right.
UFOs.
Well, one of the things I point to, and people think this is stupid. They're like, "Well, this makes sense," especially some engineer guys I talk to. But even them talk. So, fucking look at your goddamn iPhone.
Sure.
Where this has gotten from where we were fucking 20 years ago is such an exponential leap in technology that it doesn't make sense.
It does a little bit to me, just because as technology progresses, technology then progresses faster.
Right.
But I get what you're saying.
Right.
But how many things are we? How many things do we have already that the government was using, and it's just slowly then now come out into the private
That's
sector?
part of my point.
Sure.
Yeah.
But we don't know how long. I absolutely would not be one bit surprised if we hadn't found other technologies from other worlds or whatever
Right.
that we've
And that's
engineered.
more of what I'm.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
saying.
I got you.
Because I get that technology advances exponentially. It does. I mean, that's part of it. But being as somebody that's in the electronic field and works on a lot of that shit, and you are to a point as well. But I'm trying to articulate this correctly. Like the jump in computer processing speeds and computer processors, that's been a pretty exponential jump, but it's a logical process. Mm-hmm. But for that to be compacted into something like a phone, and then after like an iPhone came out, the progression of technology in that amount of time, because I mean, there's millions of fucking processing bits on fucking one circuit card on one of these goddamn things. Right. I mean, they have robots.
Well, there's more.
That
You have more computing power in that phone than the first spaceship rocket
more or
that we
less.
had.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, but I mean, it's ridiculous how much, and not just even the technology that's there, but the technology to manufacture it.
Yeah.
And that's just as insane that people don't think about. It's not so much the endpoint that you have in your hand. I mean, that shit's amazing if you really think about it. It's like fucking a magic box. But then if you think about, okay, we invented this technology. Now we have to invent the technology to fucking build the technology to market the technology.
Sure.
And it's fucking crazy. And I don't think people are smart enough to do that on their own. That's my whole point.
No, I definitely think that there's something to me, because I'm a numbers guy. You know that. I'm a numbers guy. The numbers don't make sense that we're the only inhabited planet.
Right.
In all of the thousands or millions or however many galaxies there are and solar systems out there and things like that. And of all the planets and all of the large, I mean, there's stars out there larger than our sun.
Right.
So there's got to, I'm not going to say there's got to be, the numbers would say there's got to be.
Right.
Statistically, there has to be something else out there.
No, because God made people, and people alone.
Sure, but what if we're one set of people he made?
That would go against everything that we believe in the Bible, and the Bible is infallible.
But the Bible doesn't say that there's no one else out there.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
It says that we alone are created in his image.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what if that we is a larger we than we think?
That ain't how the Southern Baptists would put it out there, so therefore it's wrong.
Kenneth Copeland probably begged to differ.
Exactly.
That's who I was trying to think of earlier that bought that Tyler Perry sold the jet very inexpensively too.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I was going to say. That if there was ever a disclosure and then we found that we've been making contact with physical aliens, do you know how many people's theology that shit would just tear into pieces?
Sure.
Which is one of my theories, is if we have ever made contact, of why that hasn't been disclosed to the mass populace, because of the absolute destruction of paradigm it would cause with a giant portion of the population, the chaos and everything else. Yeah. One of my dad's theories is that the Antichrist, if there is one according to the Bible, is going to be an alien.
I've considered that.
If they are able to effectively do the things that the Revelation says he'll do, it would have to be somebody outside of the human race, because no one person is be able to successfully unite the world in world peace, like a human being.
Stephen Hawking.
Stephen Hawking. No, he won't.
Yeah, no, I've entertained that thought before of the Antichrist could be an alien or what we would think would be an alien.
Yeah, he came down and be like, bitches, I made y'all. Check out this gun that's going to make another one.
Right.
You know,
right.
type of shit.
Rick Sanchez.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to heal your baby with this gun. Anyway.
Yeah, I'd be bummed if I find out that there's not more life out there.
Yeah.
I would be.
Yeah.
Do you think... So you're
and it might not be intelligent life. There could be fucking just like space
rednecks,
dogs.
Space rednecks.
Space rednecks. Space necks.
Squidbillies. So, so you're not sure if you feel like we've actually made actual contact with them.
I think my personal opinion is that we have.
Yeah.
However, it's just an opinion. There's no fact base. It's
Absolutely.
just whatever.
Yep.
Based on my belief in that
I
we
think
have
everyone
reversed-
knows by now we don't speak in facts only.
No. Well, our opinions are facts according to us.
Sure.
But like because I believe of where a lot of technology has come from, it makes more sense that we received that in more of a hands-on way than just be like, oh shit, look at this cool fucking trash we found in the woods. Especially if you read anything about like during Nazi Germany, the Black Forest, where they supposedly that's where they got, because during World War II, the Nazis or the Germans, rocketry and rocket technology was far beyond, far beyond, and part of that was attributed
because
to
that U.S. patriot Werner von Braun.
Right, that's the only reason we called up. But no, there's supposedly a UFO crash in the Black Forest outside Germany, and where they got a UFO, and that's where they reverse engineered a lot of their shit, and that's how they got so far advanced from us.
Oh yeah, everything they had in World War One, World War
you ever,
II, whatever.
Did you ever read about
everything was more advanced than us?
Did you ever read about the Germans or the Nazis? Their fucking big top secret weapon. It was like a bell type of thing, and they people speculated it kind of disappeared, but they had speculated that it might be a time machine that they were actively trying to work on. You know, because Hitler was obsessed with like the occult.
Oh yeah,
and a lot of that shit. So it's a pretty. I watched a documentary. I don't remember what it's called. This was years ago on like the secret Nazi weapon they were trying to build. There's all kind of speculation on what the fuck it actually was.
I don't think I have heard of that.
It's fucking interesting as shit. Anyway,
so a surprise company outing to an airbase stressed a 64-year-old French man out. So the man was surprised by the employees at his firm who had organized a joyride in a Dassault Rafale B jet for him
is this
as
the
a
story
treat.
where he accidentally fucking ejected in mid-flight?
Spoiler alert.
I'm asking.
But they apparently didn't know their colleague as well as they thought once the man arrived at the it's France, so I'm going to say Saint-Dizier Air Base in northeastern France in March 2019. So it's been a while. Realized that his coworkers had arranged, he began to feel extremely stressed, according to a fairly remarkable aviation accident reported by a French government agency. The unnamed man had never expressed any desire to fly in a fighter jet.
His name was probably Franck.
Probably.
Fucking Franck.
Jean-Luc.
Jean Franck.
The unnamed man had never expressed any desire to fly in a fighter jet and had no previous military aviation experience. And thanks to a watch he was wearing, which could measure his heart rate, investigators noticed that his heart was in full tachycardia before the flight, with a recorded heart rate ranging from 136 to 142 BPM. That's fucking insane.
That's how high my heart usually is.
You're crazy. Your resting heart rate is not 136 to 142 beats per minute.
No, my resting heart rate's around 118, 120. But
that's high.
Yeah.
That's high.
Yeah.
You should probably go to the doctor. That's high.
No, I'm fine. Actually, while you're talking, I'm gonna check my heart rate right now.
Sure. It should be up a little more than normal right now.
Yeah.
But your resting heart rate.
Heart weight.
Yeah. Maybe it is high because of your weight.
Fuck you.
Your 2 bags of Fruity Pebbles you ate this morning.
I didn't eat 2 bags of Fruity Pebbles.
All right. So the man went through the ride anyway, joining a 3-plane training exercise as a passenger. The jet is used by the French Air Force and has a maximum speed of nearly 1,400 kilometers an hour. For all of you right-thinking Americans, that's 870 miles an hour. When the jet was at 2,500 feet above ground and the pilot began to climb, the passenger panicked and reached for something to hold on to. Unfortunately, that something was the ejector seat button, and the 64-year-old flew from the fighter jet. I don't have a video of this, and I wish there was. Yeah.
Did he live?
To make matters worse, he had not securely attached his helmet, which went flying through midair. Which went flying in midair. Fortunately, the man avoided serious injury after parachuting to Earth in a field near the German border. Investigators concluded that the error was caused by an involuntary reflex prompted by stress and the jet's sudden movement. The pilot was not ejected and managed to land the plane in safety, despite suffering some minor facial injuries during the ordeal. The passenger, meanwhile, was taken to a nearby hospital.
Dude, could you imagine how pissed you would be as a pilot if some old fucking asshole ejected himself from the plane and you're getting a blast of ice cold air? I'd be so mad. I'd beat the shit out of that old man at the hospital.
I would love to fly in a fighter jet. I would love to go up in one. I mean, but yeah. I mean, anytime I think of someone ejecting, I think of Goose dying in Top Gun. That's the first thing I think is Goose dying.
Yeah. So I was incorrect. I exaggerated because I don't know what heartbeats do. Mine was 80.
That sounds more like it.
Yeah, 80.
That sounds more like it. Did you know that most serial killers have an exceptionally low resting heart rate?
Yeah.
Exceptionally low. Anyway. Do I got time to do one more?
Yeah.
All right.
You do what you want, Tiger. Which, by the way, did you watch the follow-up episode for Tiger King?
I did, and Joel McHale did not disappoint.
No, I love
Joel McHale. The fact that he's just sitting on a couch in his house because he's quarantined,
right,
and he's just as big an asshole as he was on The Soup. I
really, really wish that he would do an after show for almost every documentary Netflix has,
like Chris Hardwick used to do.
Yeah.
for whatever A&E or whatever channel that was.
Yeah, I feel like it would be a good gig for him, and it would make me happy. Hopefully,
for me, my initial thought when I found out he's the one doing that after show for Netflix is Netflix is trying to get him out in front of things so that they can fund the Community movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes complete sense. Otherwise, what is it about Joel McHale? He did a Soup-esque type show a year or two ago.
I enjoyed.
I loved that show, and it went one season, and that was it. But it's what the Soup could have been because he could say whatever he wanted.
It was wonderful.
And Paul Feig was amazing on it.
Yeah.
Paul Feig was so good on there.
Yeah.
As dapper as he is.
Yes.
Yeah, but anyway, I think that
Magnificent
Netflix
bastard.
is going to
I'm hoping so, man.
Going to pay for the community.
I'd be so
movie.
happy. Like, there's aren't many things like that would make me happier in this life than to have a community movie. And I'm trying. You know how much I don't believe in hope, and as much of a realism What
if they come back?
A realist that I am.
What if they come back and they do another couple of seasons, kind of the way Arrested Development happened?
I want a fucking movie.
No, I'm not saying they never do the movie. But I'm saying, what if they do a couple seasons and then do it?
No, I want a movie first, and then if they want to do two more, they can do as many seasons they want. But I want my goddamn movie. I want it. I want it bad. I was thinking about it.
I'm afraid it's going to disappoint.
It depends on the rhythm, and if Dan Harmon is as hands-on as he was, I don't think it'll disappoint.
Yeah.
As long as they don't
What if
try
they get the two guys that headed up season 4?
Oh, Jesus Christ. I don't know who they fucking were.
No, there's one of the Russos. The Russos were there from the start. They're producers.
So I was trying to think of plot lines, what they could possibly be.
They could go after Troy.
Right, they could go after Troy. But I feel like that would be severely out of context for what they usually do, like an outside of the school adventure.
Several of them learned how to sail in the class.
They did.
So,
which I feel like
Admiral Shirley.
Right, absolutely. But I feel like if it was outside of Greendale, it would be a disappointment of sorts. Like it has to revolve around Greendale somehow. Because none of the episodes ever really ventured, other than like restaurants, a bar, kind of things like that.
What if it's Greendale University now?
Right.
What if Pierce had left money to Greendale after he died, and it's now Greendale University?
Right. Because we know Jeff was a teacher there.
Yes.
When he left off, he was a law teacher. Which I was just watching the one with the inmates today. I didn't finish it. I got interrupted with the kids. He's like, "Did you just try to murder me? You totally just tried to murder me." But so I could see that. Like, I wouldn't want it to be like a where are they now type of shit. That would be stupid. But Amanda was talking to me. She's like, what if they had like, because they had a few callbacks to it, but what if there was like a Darkest Timeline movie? Like the whole thing was like a full blown, like more in depth with going back and forth from the Darkest Timeline to whatever. I was like,
because they did
work.
that sort of paintball episode.
The pseudo paintball episode. Which that was.
I'm not crazy about them doing something like that.
Right.
If they tie it in a little bit, that's fine.
Yeah.
But
I think anything outside, like them going on an adventure, would be very. Unless they're all sitting around the fucking table reminiscing about going to get Troy,
Sure.
Yeah, that would be a whole different thing. But
yeah, I just.
But if Harmon has anything to do with it, it'll be brilliant.
Yes. Or it'll either be brilliant or absolute shit because he's just being lazy about it.
Yeah.
It's one or the
But
you don't get in between.
But
with
I
Dan
think
Harmon.
then it's one of those things, though. Even if he was just being a lazy piece of shit, like you would realize it and be able to accept it for him being a lazy piece of shit and be like, well, we got a movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I don't know.
I don't know.
I love.
So if they do a movie and it's not picking up where it left off, but it's like a real time, like this much time has passed, do you hope that either Jeff and Annie or Jeff and Britta get together, or do you hope that none of that happened and it was a whole different avenue? Like, what would be your preference as far as romantic entanglements? I do want to see Brie Larson back as Abed's girlfriend, though.
I can't stand Brie Larson, but she was great as
Great,
always.
that's what I'm talking about. Abed's girlfriend.
Yeah. I don't know if I want Jeff to be with either of them.
Okay.
Britta and Jeff are not good for each other. Annie is great for Jeff, but I don't know how good he is for her. That's always was kind of part of her dream.
Right.
But I don't know.
Right.
I don't know how I feel about it.
That's what I'm saying. I guess
I definitely don't want Jeff and Britta to be.
Would you want Hickey to be back on?
Ooh.
I liked his character.
I did too.
And he wasn't on 6. I also liked
Right.
Elrond.
Oh yeah, Larry David something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Frank
he's
and
the one
Frank
that
and
he's the one that narrated Pillows and Forts. The
And Frankie grew on me.
Oh yeah, I like Paget Brewster a lot.
I didn't like the first couple episodes until they've hit their stride with her.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
anyway, I don't know.
You know what's interesting is she was the one that played Joey's girlfriend that Chandler had the thing for that they ended up together on Friends. Yeah.
This is turning into a community podcast, by the way. Slowly.
Last thing I'm going to say about Community is I noticed these little jokes that pop culture things that most people don't get.
Mm-hmm.
And the second German episode where the Germans are taking over the study room.
Right.
And they throw the Oktoberfest party to get pictures of the Germans.
Right.
And they walk up there, and there's this huge bunch of red balloons, and the one German guy goes, "Oh, there must be nearly 100 Luftballons."
Yeah.
I love that joke so much, and I've never heard anyone that has watched it, I've never heard of anyone laughing at that,
Really?
and it cracks me up.
See, I never really noticed. There's a lot. There's so many background jokes. Like when Shirley had her baby, and Abed's like, "Oh, I've done this before." He's birthing a baby in the back of another scene.
You didn't notice that the first time you watched it?
Not the first time I watched it.
Wow.
I don't pick up on that shit. Like, I'm very much front of the line, whatever's going on in front of me. And then after rewatches, I notice that shit a lot of times.
Yeah.
But I was reading about some Easter eggs. I've been reading about Community lately. Did you ever see the Beetlejuice joke? Did you pick up on
absolutely.
that? I never picked that up.
Yeah, it's like the long, like,
3
Dan Harmon
seasons.
committed to that joke.
Right. Yeah.
So great.
It took
It's so
3
great.
seasons. Yeah, it's fantastic. I never picked up on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
That's the shit I don't
so
pick up
good.
on.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
So, last news story I've got here. Land O'Lakes is removing the American Indian Butter Maiden from the package.
Oh.
Yes. So,
Why?
here we go. The Butter Maiden will be replaced by a lake.
Next thing you know, they're going to make Aunt Jemima white.
Well, then
Actually,
you're
they
going to
may-
have to
they-
make the syrup white.
They may have, actually, already. No. Really tan.
Actually, the Aunt Jemima bottle is not shaped like Aunt Jemima.
Right. Anymore.
Right.
I remember
Been
that
for
as a kid,
years,
though.
but
Right.
Yeah. Since 1928, Land O'Lakes butter has been adorned with the image of a butter maiden, a non-specific American Indian woman with a feather in her hair, kneeling and presenting the consumer with a container of butter. But in February, the Dairy Collective quietly removed the woman from its packaging, replacing her with an image of evergreen trees lining a broad body of water.
Love them broad bodies.
Modern Farmer notes that the company's February announcement didn't explicitly mention the Butter Maiden. Instead, it announced new packaging for the company's 100th anniversary, which features photos of the brand's farmers. Research shows that consumers care about farmers and are excited when they learn Land O'Lakes is farmer-owned.
So let me ask a question real quick, though.
Sure.
Haven't we removed American Indians from enough things?
Yeah. What is the deal with that?
Right?
Whatever.
Put her over on reservation bread.
Jesus. Next thing she's going to be selling Budweiser. We're eager to share the message with shoppers, and extending that farmer-owned story to our packaging is arguably our most direct vehicle to communicate with consumers. The previous logo had long been criticized for being racist and stereotypical. I've never heard anyone say anything about that packaging.
I've also never heard of Indians making butter, so I don't know how that's a stereotype.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just the fact that it's an image of
like every time I go to a casino, I'm looking for fucking butter behind every fucking slot machine, you know.
Well, let's see here. Previous logo had been criticized for being racist and stereotypical. The Grand Forks Tribune, let's see, Ruth Buffalo told the Grand Forks Tribune that the image goes hand in hand with human and sex trafficking of our women and girls by depicting Native women as sex objects. How the hell is that woman on that container a sex object? Quit looking at the screen.
Have you seen the Land O'Lakes lady?
Quit looking at the other screen. I'm going to show you that in just a minute. Let's see here. We as a whole need to keep pushing forward to address the underlying issues that directly impact an entire population that survived genocide. So I guess what I'm guessing now is the same way that when the New Orleans Saints won the Super Bowl, it fixed all of the problems with the people of New Orleans, that removing her from the package is going to fix all the problems that Native Americans deal with.
Sure.
This kind of shit drives me up the wall. Yeah. It's not so much that the intent is not what drives me up the wall. It's the asinine comments that are used to push that drive me up the wall. To
spin it.
Because they don't make sense. Right. They make no sense at all. It doesn't hurt anyone.
I think they make perfect sense.
Of course you do. Because at heart, you're a progressive white woman.
Heck yeah.
So, whatever. Anyway, so I was at the grocery store earlier today and just happened to pass by, and I see this is a photo I took. They had both, so they were both there.
Right.
What is being sexualized about her in this? That's the exact photo.
I would have jerked off to 13.
Sure,
no
but
doubt.
At 13, that could have been a 300-pound Native American woman, and you would have jerked off to it.
That's true.
What? Farmer-owned.
In all fairness,
farmer-owned.
In all fairness, it is a very whitewashed American.
It absolutely is, but that doesn't make it racist. If anything, it debunks the stereotypical thing. It's not stereotypical if it's white. Maybe that's the woman. Maybe that Stands with a Fist from Dances with Wolves. She was a white woman that had been captured by the Native Americans and raised as one of their own.
Yeah.
Maybe that's her.
Yeah.
Maybe they're paying homage to a good Kevin Costner movie, not Waterworld, like they are in this one.
Fuck you. There's water in the background. It's a wide body of water.
Sure.
She probably has the map to dry land tattooed on her back.
Probably. Probably. No, I just what the? We're out of problems as a country if this is what we're going after.
I also noticed on the one with the American Indian on the front, salted is much more prominent than the.
Yeah, that could just be the lighting where I took the photo.
Yeah, you're also that's true.
Could be.
Could be.
But I don't know.
Is it a private company, Joey?
No, absolutely.
To let them do what they want.
It's absolutely their prerogative to do that. I support their right to do that. I think it's idiotic.
I feel better. I have more confidence in them as a consumer.
You going to start buying Land O'Lakes now?
I am.
I don't.
I buy, what is it, Kill something? It's the Irish butter.
Yep, I buy that too.
It's amazing.
Yep.
It's the best butter.
I think it is. I bought another.
And you know what? If they had a sultry, redheaded Irish woman on the front, it wouldn't change my opinion of buying the butter.
Sure, it wouldn't. And I would venture to say that not a single white person would complain about that, or Irish person.
Well, in all fairness, not a single white person probably complained about that.
No, I bet there are shitloads of white people that complain about that.
I guess so.
Maybe.
And as they should. I mean, somebody has to be offended on behalf of the American Indians. They don't have a loud enough voice together, so they need us white folks to band together to be offended on their behalf. That's how it works.
Well,
Shit doesn't get done until white people start getting unnecessarily involved.
right. Yeah. Women's suffrage.
Yeah.
Everybody knows the Constitution was written by the wives.
Right. Which, by the way, I know what it is, obviously, but I've never, like, that word in my brain, as a modern human being, hearing the word suffrage is always this weird thing. Because I remember talking to somebody, and I mentioned women's suffrage, and they were like, "Women's suffrage is never a good thing. Why would you want women's to suffrage?" Do
you remember the Man Show bit where they were out on the street trying to get women to sign petitions to end women's suffrage?
Yeah.
Some women would sign it, and then other women would be like, they're making fun of you, right? Which they weren't making fun of the women.
They were just making fun of stupidity.
That's it. Making fun of stupidity. And they're oftentimes the butt of the joke on that show anyway. But still, they were trying to get people to sign a petition to end women's suffrage. And people were actually signing it.
Yeah, because people, I love they have them on both ends. They typically are on the conservative side of the web shows. And so some of the stuff is stupid, but it's really funny to me when they go to college campuses and they ask these questions about political issues or whatever. And people are so stupid.
Oh, absolutely.
Instead of just being like, I don't know. They want to have an answer and they want to look smart, and they end up making themselves
look so stupid.
So stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's one thing I really enjoy about the web series. I never can remember the guy's fucking name, but the Change My Mind shit.
Oh, yeah, Steven Crowder.
Mm-hmm. Like, I think he's a fucking cunt. Like, I really do.
Oh,
like,
he absolutely
I don't like him.
Is
but
a dick to people, but I kind of do like him.
But
I don't necessarily agree with everything.
But I
like
like that show. I like that concept of essentially going in and being somewhat of an expert in the field that you're speaking on.
Sure.
At least in your political.
He's definitely studied and read up on whatever he's talking about.
And it's all from his from a conservative perspective, for sure, for the most part. I mean, those are the topics he picks because that's what creates the controversy.
Yeah, he definitely picks the things that conservatives and liberals disagree on. But
exactly.
he almost always strictly speaks in facts and figures.
He does, but you can speak in facts and figures from any perspective, and they can still be spun with the angle that you're pushing at.
Sure, but facts are facts, though.
Right, but you can still skew facts.
It's not a fact anymore if you skew it.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
You can take two sets of statistics, and you can use them, and they can completely say different things, but you can use them to prove the same point. Those statistics are statistics.
But you can't do it and completely tell the truth about the statistics.
You can.
You can.
Okay, hold on, let me rephrase that. You can tell the truth from the statistics, but depending on who takes those statistics, they could say two completely different things.
Give the statistics and then say something untrue about it.
Okay.
You can do that, but you can't take those numbers and what the numbers say.
Right.
There's only one answer there.
True. I agree with that, but the interpretation of that answer is where shit starts getting weird, is my point.
But that's the thing, is I don't feel like those people are interpreting it that way. I think they're saying it that way.
Right.
Purposefully.
Okay, I got you there. But I feel like he can do the same thing. Like what I'm saying is
he can, but for the most part,
he does.
No. He definitely takes the conservative stance, 100%.
Right.
But when he speaks about the facts, or when he speaks about statistics, he just gives the statistics.
Correct. But the before and after is where he starts spitting in the conservative leanings, is my point.
Sure, but he also almost always sticks with the facts.
Okay, but this is what I'm saying. The fact, numbers are the numbers. I agree with you there. There's no change. But the way you present those numbers,
sure,
is spinning. And I'm saying he always goes from that conservative standpoint. That's the point of his show. He absolutely goes
from the conservative standpoint, but he doesn't spin the numbers.
No,
he spins his opinion.
That's what I'm saying.
But he does not spin the numbers.
Right, but somebody that's good at politicizing or talking or whatever.
The numbers back up his opinion, though. He wouldn't do it if it didn't.
Right.
But I just like the fact that he wants to sit down with people that have a different opinion on him and calmly, because he is calm until you're not calm with him.
Right.
But I just like the fact that someone will sit down with someone with a different opinion.
Right.
And I will say this. I don't like conservative talk radio.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like conservative. I don't watch Fox News. But on the flip side of that, I don't watch MSNBC or CNN.
Right.
I don't watch any news, really, because it's all fucking bullshit now.
Right.
But
I guess what I'm getting at, like, okay, I get you there. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I thought of a better way to put it. But if you have a statistic that's a factual statistic that says 20% of all black children will die in gun violence or a gun-related death this year, right? And so, but that's also 80% will not. So depending on what argument you're trying to choose is you pick the part of that statistic.
Sure.
So you can say it's the same set of numbers that 20% of black people or black children will die gun-related deaths this year. So we need gun control. And the other side will say, well, 80% or only 20% of people are going to die from guns. So gun control is obviously not the issue. It's the same set of numbers, but the perspective and the emotional reaction that's pulled from that. Or you can say 80% of kids aren't going to die from this. So the vast majority are not. So blah, blah, blah.
But when he throws his opinion in there, he backs his opinion up with other facts about stuff. Like he will say something, let's just say in that he would throw something in there about that 20% that are going to die from gun violence or whatever.
Right.
Well, there's the higher percentage that are things from family without a father, things like that are the bigger issue.
Right. But the thing is all of those issues, any societal issues, all of them are so multifaceted and one thing affects another and they're all layered. So one set of facts or figures can talk about one segment of this, but it doesn't cover the entire range.
No, absolutely.
And so the part of that range he chooses to focus on are purely in the conservative ballpark. That's my point.
Sure.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
So that's why I'm saying his usage of facts and statistics, while true with what he's spitting out, are only angled for the reaction he's eliciting from these people. That's my point.
Sure, and I don't have a problem liberal, conservative,
right,
middle. I don't care if you do it that way, as long as you stick with the facts and you are willing to concede when the facts don't support.
Right,
I'm fine with that.
Okay,
but I just like that he's willing to talk with someone with a different opinion and calmly talk with someone with a different opinion.
Right.
You know what's odd is that you don't see a lot of that from the liberal side. You watch any of the liberal news stations, they don't want to sit down with conservative people
I give you that 100%.
And have calm, cordial conversation about
well, that's
things.
what I'm saying. I enjoy the concept and I enjoy the reaction. Like one of my favorites that he did is that there's no such thing as rape culture. That's one of my favorite episodes because it's so ridiculous. And that's what makes entertaining videos. That's why people watch him, is because he takes a very outlandish statement, and when you really focus on the facts that he's making, it's not really the overall thing. It's taking one specific point that derails conceptually what that is from one perspective or another, and that's what makes it intriguing to people that
sure. But oftentimes that one thing that he takes, the stance that he really hammers down on, is one of the bigger points that the other side hammers down on a lot as well.
I agree, which both of them are wrong a lot of times, or at least they're right in part of. They're both partially right in my opinion, but he's going to pick the part that's going to piss people off because that's the reactionary that he wants to get the show.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I agree with that. Yeah, absolutely.
I guess what annoys the shit out of me about it is a lot of the things that are brought up on it are a very minor part of the overall issue, but both sides of the coin do the same thing. That's why they're all the fucking same to me.
Sure.
Right? It's because they're saying, okay, this is a major issue. I'm going to pick this point out to get pissed off of. Okay, I'm going to pick this side off, and we're going to argue these two things that are only a portion of the fucking overall problem.
Did you ever see the video where he had one of his producers basically infiltrate Antifa in an area?
Yeah. And
Antifa's talking about how we don't use violence, we don't use weapons, things like that. And this absolutely the whole time is talking about, do you have the Antifa head there is like, so do you have a gun? Do you at least have an ice pick you can bring with you? And this shit is insane.
Yeah.
Like the kind of shit. But
by the way, the Antifa is the liberal version of fucking white supremacists. They're all fucking cunts.
Oh yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
But the thing about Antifa that I don't like is that they're hiding under the veil of being anti the bad, and they're as bad as the stuff
so
they're anti.
KKK.
Sure, but they're the veil that they're hiding behind is an ignorant veil.
Right.
They're hiding behind the veil of.
Did you just say weird?
No.
You did say weird.
They're hiding behind a veil that white people are.
You said weird. I'm going to play that shit back.
That's so funny. That's funny. That's good. Yeah, you got me. We're hiding behind the veil. No, they're hiding behind the veil that white people are superior.
Right.
That's just an ignorant thing, period.
Yeah.
Antifa is championing this cause as they're saying that they're the champions of all these other people and all these things, and it's so anti. The whole thing about fascism. They're so much more fascist than the people that they're anti.
I got you.
So
I got you. But I'm really happy for that little little tidbit.
I'm trying to figure out what it was. What two words I mixed up to get to weir.
We and R.
No, that's not it. But I'll own it. That's fine. The one thing I've said that's could be remotely spun that way. Right. You had a whole episode dedicated to your racism.
Oh, that's fair.
All right, you ready to give some thoughts?
I think so, man.
Okay.
So I wrote one note here, and I have no idea what it was referring to, but whatever. So if you're going to exploit minorities, you might as well do it in Napa Valley while you're getting wine sucked off your cock. While you're not doing that, you're probably killing animals, fucking looking for alien infiltration. And because there is obviously no moon landing, we got to remove Indians off of butter packaging.
Oh my God.
And that'll
Wrong.
do it. Nah, whatever. I wrote down, and you said something specifically, and I can't remember who it was tied to, but it was about drowning kid. God damn it. You probably had a baby drown in a bathtub because we're one step away from being Rick Burgess.
No, but Matthew was pulled from a pool when he was around a year old, lifeless and blue, and CPR done on the side of the pool while I was standing there watching.
Nice.
So, pretty close.
So, essentially, you almost got off of 18 years of having to fund a child. And you didn't.
So
that's unfortunate for you.
Is he the second coming of Christ because he was raised from the dead?
That's possible. I've saved Jude from drowning like 4 times. Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Not to that degree. He wasn't dead, but
I didn't say Matthew was dead. He was blue and had a lifeless looking body.
Because I always think if both my kids died in a car crash or some shit, it'd be like instantly money back in my pocket every month.
You think you could draw Social Security off of them?
I don't know, but I wouldn't have to pay my ex-wife shit after that.
All right. So how do you feel about the Kavanagh?
I'm not impressed.
I'm not impressed.
I like it better than Proper 12. I'll tell you that shit right now.
Well, I think I do too. It's okay. Anyway.
All right, buddy.
Until next time.
I love you.
Yep, I love you.
All right.
Give us a thumbs up on Facebook at B3F Podcast. Follow us on Twitter at B3F Podcast and on Instagram at B3F_podcast. Send us your questions or comments to bfff.podcast@gmail.com. Rate us and review us wherever you listen to the show. And as always, thanks for listening.